Hi everyone, got a multi-tool review for you today. What you're looking at here is the Leatherman Charge TTI. Leatherman actually has three models of the Charge out. There's the Charge AL, the ALX, and the TTI. The main difference between the three is the materials used in their construction, and some of the tools are different between the different models. All of them have a stainless steel body. For the AL series, the handle scales are made out of a 6061-T6 hard anodized aluminum. For the TTI model, the handle scales are made out of titanium. You're going to save a little bit of weight, like 0.1 or 0.2 ounces, by getting the TTI model, but at the same time, because titanium is so expensive, you're going to be paying more. Also, you might want to take into account the fact that the tools are different as well. Another big difference between the two is the fact that on the AL series, the blade, the clip point blade, is made out of 154 cm steel. It's a really high-grade steel, not cheap by any means. It's actually a pretty expensive steel, and it's holds a really good edge. But on the TTI model, you have S30V, which is an even higher grade of steel. Most people will agree that S30V is tougher, holds an edge longer, and generally is more expensive. At the same time, though, because it is so hard, it's going to be a little bit harder to sharpen. So you might want to take that into account if you have a hard time sharpening blades. Another thing that I should point out between the models is, since the tools are different, you should really go on the Leatherman website and check out which tools are on each model and then match that to what you intend to use it for. I'm just going to talk about the construction of the TTI model, and if I can remember it, I'll try to mention any differences between this and the other two. As you can see here, this uses a screw construction, so if you wanted to, you can adjust the pivot screws in order to tighten or loosen the tension up, and if you really wanted to, you could actually take this multi-tool apart. I wouldn't recommend it unless you're really handy and pretty confident in your abilities, but I wouldn't. This looks to be held in by Torx screws, but if you'll notice here, it has these little dots. These are actually security screws, so you need a special Torx that has a corresponding hole in the middle for these dots to fit inside. Otherwise, you won't be able to fit the Torx bit inside, so make sure you get a specialized Torx bit set if you want to take this knife apart. In addition to that, all the blades are on the outside and all the tools are on the inside, unlike some multi-tools where all the tools are accessible from the outside or all the tools are on the inside. So this is half and half. Starting with the most obvious thing, we'll look at the clip point blade. Razor sharp and has a wicked point. My friend actually got this tool used. He bought this off a tradesman at a construction site, and he bought basically just the tool, and he had to go buy all the other accessories that came with it. So this isn't a bone stock tool as you would get it brand new from a website. So the blade is excellent. He's used it for quite a few things. Basically, he doesn't carry a pocket knife anymore. He's found that this blade is more than adequate for any task that he has to do, whether it's opening mail and cutting open packages or just basically slicing food for lunch. All of the blades use a liner lock design, and what you have here is a little metal liner that slides into place and locks the blade open. In order to disengage the lock, I would push the liner out of the way like this, and then the blade can rotate. To show you, just pay attention to this liner here. As I open it, you're going to see it slide into place like that, and so you would push it out of the way to disengage it. On this side, you have a file, and you have a rough side right here and a finer grit side right here, and you have this edge that you can use for filing away for thinner sections. As you can see, this has been well used. We actually took this out, my friend and I, we went to the shooting range, and he just got some new rail panels for his AR-15, so he basically just used the saw blade to cut off sections off, and then he used this to polish up the edge. So he's getting a lot of mileage out of this multi-tool. He pretty much takes this with him everywhere he goes, so it's a pretty big deal for me to be borrowing this from him because he wants it back soon. Going to the other side right here, you have a serrated blade with a gut hook. Because of the gut hook, you can actually take this with you to the outdoors if you need to skin any animals. And for the serrated blade, you'll notice that it is chisel ground. Right here it's flat, and you only see the serrations on one side. Now the serrations are a bit shallow for my taste, but in trying to cut things like cord and fibrous materials, I haven't had any problems. It's just more of a personal preference. I would like deeper, more aggressive serrations, but I haven't had any functional problems with it. And then, last but not least, you have the saw blade, and it has 2 rows of very sharp, very aggressive teeth. And on a camping trip, he's used this to cut 1 and 2 inch diameter tree branches for firewood, and haven't had any problems with that. Still really sharp and aggressive. The only problem I could see is the fact that when these eventually get dull from use, you'll have to probably send this into a professional service in order to get sharpened. Or if you have a lot of patience and the right tools, you could do it yourself, but it could be pretty time consuming. But so far, after a bunch of use, still wickedly sharp. And before I go into the internal tools, let me just point out a few extra things. If you look at it head on, you'll notice there's a little gap right here. Now, this actually came with the tool. You get these 2 attachments. You have a lanyard hole or a pocket clip. And you'll notice that they both have these little notches right here. Now all the tools on the inside of the multi-tool are held in with a lockback design, so basically I would push this and this lifts this locking bar up. And then I can slide the lanyard hole into that loop, and when I let go, the locking bar holds into place, and there you go, you got a lanyard hole. So it's a little bit heavy to be hanging all around your neck like a necklace, but with this lanyard hole, you can actually have something like you could loop a bit of cord through this hole and then around your wrist. That way if you're using this tool in water or in some place where you don't want to drop it, you accidentally let go of it because it's slipped, because it's wet or whatever, you'll still have the loop around your wrist through the lanyard hole. And to take it out, basically just push this to lift the bar and disengage it. You can pull it right out. And let me just show you what this looks like with the pocket clip in here. Now, a little too heavy and a little bit bulky to be riding in your pocket, or if you're wearing a really big carpenter pants or you got a cargo pocket, you can clip it in that way. The cool thing about the pocket clip is the fact that it goes all the way up, so it's deep riding. So if you stick this in a pocket, notice how this goes all the way to the top. All you'll see is the pocket clip sticking out if you have this in a pocket, and that's great. It just makes the tool really inconspicuous from the outside. Could be a pen or whatever from people looking at it, so that's nice. It doesn't attract too much attention, and I really like that about the pocket clip. So lift that, pull this and move this out of the way. Opening up the multi-tool itself, you have the needle nose and regular pliers, you have the hard wire cutter, and then you have a wire crimper. And then going over here to the tools, actually before I get into that, one thing I also want to point out is the fact that you have an integrated ruler. It's really nice. And you have it in inches and in centimeters, so that's kind of neat. You can just open this up and use this as an impromptu ruler. Opening this up, and let me just actually point out, show you how this locking mechanism works. What you'll notice here, there's a notch right here in the tool. When I go, the locking bar is going to go into that notch. It's going to lock it into place, so it's not going to go anywhere. And to disengage that, we just basically push this button to lift the locking bar and it can close. Close. So here you got a can opener and a wire stripper. And then here you have a large bit driver. And when you buy the tool, it's going to come with several bits, and if you want even more of a variety, you can buy separately a bit kit from Leatherman, which has all of these different bits that you can stick into the large bit driver, and I've done a separate review on the bit kit if you want to learn more about it. Going to this side, you have a large fixed flathead screwdriver. Now you won't find the fixed flathead screwdriver on the ALX model, but you'll find it on the TTI and the AL model. And also, since I forgot, you'll find this large bit driver on all of the models, but the ALX will actually have 2 of these. Here you'll have a small bit driver, and right here you have a tiny little Phillips head. If I switch it out, flip it over, you have a tiny little flat head. And this is great for finer work if you need to do something like, say, work on a pair of glasses, which I wear. And then last but not least, you have a pair of scissors. And I really like how Leatherman does their scissors, because right here you have a tension bar right here. So if I have the tool closed, because of the tension bar, I can press down with just one finger and it's going to open it up. So I can just use one finger in order to access it. And I can open up the mouth really wide in case I need to get something quite large if I wanted to. Wouldn't recommend it. You probably want to use this for thinner things like, say, paper and just cardboard, but it's kind of nice to have that option that you can open the mouth really wide on this. Now you'll find these scissors on the AL and the TTI model, but you will not find the scissors on the ALX model. It's kind of what you trade off for having two large bit drivers. And that's the reason why on the Leatherman website, why they say the Charge TTI is kind of a combination between the two, the AL and the ALX. Now one thing that I will give as a hit is the fact that the way that they constructed the these scissors, you have to have this in the open position in order to put it away. So be a little bit careful when you're putting this away. And I forgot one more detail. Let's see if I can find the saw blade here. There we go. Here you got the saw blade. Just open it up and be careful not to touch it. And if you look inside, you'll notice like a small little sliver of metal right there. I'm just going to use the pocket clip, but you can use any thin piece of metal. If you go in here, kind of push this way, you'll notice that you have another integrated lanyard hole. That's about as far as it comes out. It's not as big as the larger lanyard hole that comes with it, but it's big enough for most smaller lines. So if you need one right away and you don't need that much space, this will work just fine. And it's integrally attached, so you don't have to worry about this coming out. As you can see, it rocks just a little bit. So you can use this as a small lanyard loop, and if you don't need it, just push it back inside and it's out of the way. So it's nice to know it's on the side of the saw blade if you were wondering. Now, you've already seen the bit kit, you've already seen the pocket clip and the lanyard hole. Let me just show you the case really quick. Now when you first buy this, I told you my friend bought this used. If you buy this brand new, you're going to get a choice of either the nylon or the leather carry case. My friend actually bought this separately, so this might or might not be the nylon case that comes with the kit. It's a nylon design, which I prefer to leather just because I think it's a little bit more durable, especially in moist environments. You have a belt loop right here. I was able to fit my 1.5 inch width belt through here, but mine's a thin rigger type belt. But I think even if you had a thicker leather belt, you'd still be able to fit it through this loop. It's held in by Velcro, which is just fine for right now. I would have liked a snap instead though, but for right now it works just fine. You have the nice little Leatherman logo, which I think is quite attractive. And then you have the main compartment for the tool itself, and if you'll notice there's a hole here at the bottom, so if I wanted to, I can actually stick the tool in here in the open position and then close it like that and have it ready. And in addition to having the area for the tool, you have these smaller elastic pockets to fit all the accessories that you can buy separately for the tool. So you have a flatter pocket right here, you have an elastic pocket right here in the back, and then you have elastic long pockets on either side. And while I'm here, let me just actually pull out a tool to show you one more little accessory that you can buy. Right here, you have the bit driver. If I pull this bit out, you can actually also buy a bit extender. Fits right in here and it buys you another, say, 3 inches of space in case you need to get at something that's kind of like hard to reach. So I really like that a lot, that you have this option to buy this as well. And it increases the capability of the tool. And all in all, you can buy all this stuff. Stick the tool in here. If you bought the bit kit, you can fit in the elastic compartment in the back right here. Make it easier to put it back inside. Stick the little bit extender here in the side pocket. Stick the pocket clip in the other side pocket. Maybe stick the little lanyard loophole in this little flat pocket right behind the Velcro. And there you go. You have an entire toolkit system that rides in this nice little package that you could just loop on your belt. So that's pretty much my little overview of the Leatherman Charge TTI. Hopefully I didn't miss too many details. If you guys have any questions, just leave a comment or leave a PM message. If you guys are looking about getting this kit, I think you can go online and check out the folks at gadzooks.com for all the accessories, like the bit kit or the tool itself. And that's pretty much my review. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and have a great day.